Hello there. This is Frog and Shroom ASMR, and I figured I would do a talking video as well. I've already uploaded one, just plain typing with no talking. I know that having a little variety can be really nice for people. I know I myself like to be able to choose between a talking video and a non-talking video, just pure sound, so I'm going to try to do a little bit of both on this channel. So I figured a good way to do a talking video would just be to flip through this really lovely library book that I have on trees, shrubs, flowers to know, British Columbia and Washington. So basically just some nice regional flowers and plants and things like that. And hopefully when I'm able to get out for a nice walk or something like that, I can try and showcase a few things that I see along the way, because there's a lot of really, really beautiful forests around where I live, so lots to do. All right, let's take a peek. There's the acknowledgement page. Let's get to the good stuff. All right. So here we have the Sitka spruce, tideland spruce, coast spruce. Varies considerably depending on whether a forest tree or growing in the open. In humid coastal forests, it produces a long, clean trunk, 0.9 to 1.8 meters in diameter, topped by a thin crown of short branches, reaching 45 meters in height. In the open, limbs are strongly outthrust and carry a triangular fringe of drooping branchlets. Limbs extend almost to the ground. This latter form is easily distinguishable from a considerable distance. There's a lot of really beautiful trees, like even right here with the Engelmann spruce. We have a lot of spruces where I live. A lot of spruces and cedars, but we have a little bit of everything, including the Sitkas. Western hemlock, this is another one we have a lot of. Really, really beautiful tree. These ones are pretty cool, the subalpine fir. Let's see. Down here, let's look at the range. A tree of subalpine elevations, it is found throughout BC except for the Queen Charlotte Islands. Locally frequent at higher elevations on Vancouver Island, it is most common east of the Cascades, where it appears at moderate elevations around 600 meters on the interior plateau and continues to timberline. So it has a nice range, but of course, with the name, it's going to be up at higher elevations. Here's the all popular and important Douglas fir. We have tons of these guys around here, and they are just beautiful, especially when they get really, really big. We have some old trees sort of close where I live, a couple hours out. Lots of firs. Let's see. Let's go a little further. Let's flip a little further in our book. Alright, so we're into berries now. Tons of lovely berries around where I live. Blueberries, like the wild, we have lots of wild blueberries, especially like in more mountainous areas. So those are pretty cool. Huckleberries, lots of huckleberries in the forests. Raspberries, we have somewhat. And blackberries, if I can find the blackberries here. We have tons and tons of blackberries. And cranberries too, which is pretty crazy. We have a lot of different types of berries in BC, loads and loads and loads. You can basically go out into the brush, and if you know what you're doing and you know what to look for, you can find so many things to eat. It's honestly pretty cool. I have a lot of respect for people who forage and are able to do so efficiently. It's pretty remarkable skill. Lingonberry. I've had jam made out of this, and it is absolutely delicious. It reminds me a little bit of like a cranberry in a way, but really, really nice jam. We're getting into some of the marshland items. We have tons of marshlands in BC, especially in the area that I live. So you see a lot of different types of these kinds of plants. And it's pretty remarkable how many different things you can find. Oh, clematis. I love clematis. It's so pretty. I don't think I've ever seen the wild form. I'll have to keep a lookout if I can find them the next time I go out. There's so many really lovely specimens that you can find. And so many unique names like greasewood, sagewort, rabbit brush, antelope brush. I love the names they give them. Oh, sumac. I know, I think this one, yeah, right here. Sumac exudes a milky juice when bruised. Some species are used in preparing waxes, dyes, and varnishes. Lemonade is made with velvety seeds, husks steeped in hot water, then the water is strained and sweetened and left to cool. That would be an interesting thing to try. I've never tried sumac, so I don't quite know how it would taste, but I'm always interested to try local plants and see how they're prepared. Ooh, elderberries. I love elderberries and junipers. Both are really good for when you're sick. So having a tea with elderberries or juniper berries is very good for when you have a cold. Really, really good for you. Wild roses. Oh, I love Nootka roses especially. They grow around here sort of in the forests and in a little more open as well, but they're really beautiful when they're in bloom. Love them a lot. Oregon grape. Ooh, these guys are really cool too. There's tons of them on the forest floor, and they just sort of come up with these really cool like leaves. Reminds me a lot. I mean, holly leaflets reminds you of holly, right? They're about as prickly too, so they're really cool. They're really pretty too. Saskatoon berries. These guys are pretty tasty. And even if they do say Saskatoon berry, they're not just native to the prairie provinces. There are Saskatoon berries that will grow here in BC, mostly on the mainland, I think. Thimbleberries. This is one of my favorite berries. They are so tasty. They're like little tiny, super sweet raspberries, but they're very, very brittle. So it's hard to gather them and take them home. They're best when you just eat them straight off the plant. They are so tasty. They can be a little seedy, but well worth it for the flavor. They also make a really good vinaigrette if you can manage to get them home. Let's see. Ocean spray. There's tons of this on one of my favorite walking paths. It's sort of like, there's one area where like when it's sort of at its highest in the late spring, you know, when we've had lots of rain, good amount of sun to help it grow, it just forms like this, almost like an arbor kind of over the, like an archway over the path, and it's so pretty, especially when it flowers. There's just this, well, it's aptly named ocean spray. It's this spray of beautiful white flowers. So pretty. Dogwood. Dogwood is actually specifically the variety that grows on the trees, so those really pretty white flowers. That's actually the province's national flower, so it's really, really beautiful. I'm not a big fan of the season when all the pollen is out. Unfortunately, I have allergies, but I still appreciate being able to see the flowers and everything. They're so pretty. I don't know if I've necessarily seen this type of dogwood, but I'll have to keep a lookout because they're very pretty. Honeysuckle, twinberry, common snowberry, azalea, false azalea specifically. A lot of different types of things. Oh, mallow, lots of mallow. We get these a lot kind of in our area. Not tons, but sort of by the roadsides I notice. Ooh, lupin. Lupin is one of my favorite wildflowers. It's so pretty. So you see right there kind of how that looks. It can get really, really bright and really lovely. Scotch broom. It's pretty, but it is the bane of our existence. It was actually an introduced species, so hence Scotch broom. And unfortunately, it's very, very, very invasive and will kind of just take over and choke out any of the native flora in any area. So a lot of people will come together and they'll cut it down and stuff like that. But oftentimes you have to really get down in there and you have to burn the roots away because they're so tenacious. Think of like the worst raspberry or blackberry roots and like put them on steroids. So yeah, they are pretty, but they are not super good for the environment around here. So it's a lot of times it's very good to call Scotch broom. Oh, salmon berries. This is one of my absolute favorite plants in the area. I haven't been able to get out, unfortunately, this season because right now, as I'm filming this, we're sort of in the later part of when salmon berries are ripe, but they are just lovely little berries. They're so tasty. You have to be careful not to get them too young or they are absolutely just so sour. But if you like sour, then maybe you'll want to get them young. That's fine too. But when they are perfectly in season and ripe, they are so tasty. They are delicious. The flowers as well are just this beautiful color. They're this sort of like off pink. They're really lovely. You can always spot them when they're starting to come into season. You can see these little green little pods of berries, these little clusters, and it's exciting because you know those are going to turn into these beautiful, well, salmon colored berries. Don't let the name fool you. They don't taste like salmon. They're just sort of a nice, like, they're very similar to like a blackberry or a raspberry. They're really lovely. They're very, 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 very tasty too. Salal, this is another plant that grows in a lot of the forests. I know, like, you can usually identify it by the leaves and the flowers and stuff. They're so pretty. White-flowered rhododendron. These ones I actually don't know if they're a native species or if they were introduced, but I love rhododendrons, and I have seen wild ones while I was in Scotland a few years back, and it was pretty remarkable. I was on a train actually headed over, I think, where was it? I think I was headed from Glasgow to, I want to say, I can't for the life of me remember the name of this little town, but it had this lovely, like, ferry terminal there. This teeny tiny little place, and we got on there to go over to Isla. And while we were on the train, as we were going, there was this little stretch of trees and these big, gigantic old rhododendron bushes. Just beautiful. Absolutely remarkable to see. I think many a gardener over here would be green with jealousy to see how beautiful they were going. All right, now we're getting into the flowers. Of course, I accidentally go to one of my favorites, the shooting star. So these right here, you can see how this is shaped. It's sort of turned down with the petals facing upward. And they are just incredible to find when you're just out and about going for a walk. And you see these just unique flowers flowers growing. They're so pretty. And of course, these guys, the Canada violet. We have a lot of different types of wild violets that will grow in a lot of different areas. Marsh violet is one of my favorites. Sort of these pretty yellow flowers. Oxalis. This is one I actually see it cultivated in a lot of gardens. It's these cute little guys right here with these leaves. They almost look clover-like, but they're a little more squared, if that makes sense. They have these sort of pretty white flowers. Alright. Deer cabbage. I think I've seen these guys out and they're pretty cute. I like the name though. Deer cabbage and buckbean. That's a great name. Almost sounds like a hobbit name, buckbean. All in all, some really incredible varieties of plants and such. In British Columbia, it's pretty remarkable. Cinquefoil, there's a lot of different varieties of cinquefoil in British Columbia. Tons and tons of these tiny, cute little flowers. I think I'll do a few more pages, maybe skip over. You can hear the kids at the daycare. They're having tons of fun out in the sun, so they like to get a bit rambunctious sometimes, so I'm sure if you're trying to relax, you might not necessarily want to hear kids playing, but I think it's pretty cute. Well, St. John's wort. A lot of people will know that one, I bet. It's often used to treat like mental illness and stuff like that. Like people will use it for like anxiety and depression and stuff like that. Though it is cautioned if you're already on medications that you don't take this as well. It's one of the other sort of, and there can be other side effects with this, but for people who want a more natural option, I suppose it's a good thing that it's there. But again, always ask your doctor if you're going to be doing this kind of stuff. Alright, one more page after this. The irises and the lilies. One more. Let's do a random flip. Oh, fireweed. What a good place to end on. Fireweed is so pretty and makes the most amazing honey. Odds are if you find fireweed anywhere, it's just gonna be delicious. Very good in tea, very good on toast with a bit of butter. So tasty. All right. Well, thank you for sitting down and flipping through this book with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if there's any other triggers that you really enjoy, and I would be happy to look into making a video of them. At this point, I'm still not a very good editor or anything like that, so I'll be posting probably just a lot of just the raw footage for now. And I'm basically just filming this on my Google Pixel, so nothing too fancy, but I know I find a lot of charm in like old lo-fi, or lo-fi quote-unquote, ASMR videos. That was sort of, when I was younger, that was what I listened to. That was sort of the standard, if you will. It's pretty remarkable how far we've come as a community. There's so many just beautiful, remarkable videos. Anyways, I'll stop rambling now. But I hope you have a wonderful day or night or whenever you're watching this, and that you are relaxed. And we'll see you next time. Bye.